A few days ago, we even talked about on this show, Emma Watson, who's been taking a break from acting for a couple of years now. And you know what? Like, I think, I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again today. For these child actors who, at the age of 9 or 10 or 11 or whatever, are in Hollywood and that's what they do and that is their life, I don't think they're real people. I don't think they've had the ability to become real people in that type of world. So I think, you know what? I think it's probably a good idea to step away from a little while, whatever reason Emma Watson did. But it was weird because when she came back and did this podcast, she had very different things to say about J.K. Rowling than the things she said for the past 5 years. In fact, it seemed like she was trying to do her best to, although saying I don't agree with J.K. Rowling, still be like, I think it's okay to love one another when we don't have the same opinions, which was a lot different from what she said recently. This is the clip that a lot of people saw.
I really don't believe that by having had that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have mean that I can't and don't treasure Joe and the person that I had personal experiences with. I will never believe that one negates the other, and that my experience of that person I don't get to keep and cherish. To come back to our earlier thing, like I just don't think these things are either or. I think it's my deepest wish that I hope people who don't agree with my opinion will love me, and I hope I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with.
She said a whole lot of words and said nothing at all.
She said a whole lot of words and basically just said, you know, I think it's okay to still love and cherish people, even though we have different opinions on some things.
Yeah, she did not do a good job of saying that.
To basically say that. But that's very different. Like, she has publicly trashed J.K. Rowling for years now in the aftermath of 2020 when J.K. Rowling came out and in support of women's rights and in saying biology is a thing, keep transgender men out of female locker rooms and prisons and spaces and all of that stuff. So this is weird when Emma Watson randomly comes out and says something like this. Well, J.K. Rowling took a couple days, but she finally responds, and she went scorched earth on Emma Watson. Went scorched earth. And it's in response to this clip right here, which I guess we could play the clip to show what she is responding to. And this is on GB News.
Well, I'd like to think so. And I think there are some other positive signs, too, that things are shifting. When you see the media starting to say trans women are men, then I think we really are winning. But Emma Watson was careful, wasn't she, not to go too far. I think what she's going to find now is you can't sit on the fence. She was a real cheerleader for Mermaids, the charity, and for transitioning children and for people knowing who they are.
There's also kind of there's that clip of her at the BAFTAs, and it was just kind of like a really snidey, there's that bit where she says, I'm here for all the witch, like, but one. Yeah, it was just nasty.
Yeah.
They're talking about how she publicly was shitting on J.K. Rowling, right? Publicly in the middle of all this stuff. Look at this. Now, J.K. Rowling is a writer, so I think we could have some high expectations for her when it comes to her tweets beyond just what you and I normally say. This looks gay. This looks dumb. Well, that's stupid. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But I think it's very well thought out, and I think she's been hanging on to this for a very long time. I'm seeing quite a bit of comment about this, so I want to make a couple points. I'm not owed eternal agreement from any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what opinions I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected. Wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with loss of work or violence or death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular, she leaves out Rupert Grint because Rupert Grint did not act the same as those two did towards her, have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay obligation, to critique me and my views in public. Years after they finished acting in Potter, they continued to assume the role of de facto spokespeople for the world I created. When you've known people since they were 10 years old, it's hard to shake off a certain protectiveness. Not until quite recently, I hadn't managed to throw off the memory of children who needed to be gently coaxed through their dialogue in a big, scary film studio. For the past few years, I've repeatedly declined invitations from journalists to comment on Emma specifically, most notably on the witch trials of J.K. Rowling. Ironically, I told the producers I didn't want her to be hounded as the result of anything I said. This is when she really starts to go into it. The television presenter in the attached clip highlights Emma's all witches speech, and in truth, that was a turning point for me, but add a postscript that hurt far more than the speech itself. Emma asked someone to pass on a handwritten note from her to me, which contained the single sentence, "I'm so sorry for what you're going through." She has my phone number. This was back when the death, rape, and torture threats against me were at their peak, at a time when my personal security measures had to be tightened considerably, and I was constantly worried for my family's safety. Emma had just publicly poured more petrol on the flames, yet thought a one-line expression of concern from her would reassure me of her fundamental sympathy and kindness. Like other people who've never experienced adult life uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little experience of real life, she's ignorant of how ignorant she is. She'll never need a homeless shelter. She's never going to be placed in a mixed sex public hospital ward. I'd be astounded if she's been in a high street changing room since childhood. Her public bathroom is single occupancy and comes with a security man standing guard outside the door. Has she had to strip off in a newly mixed sex change room at the council-run swimming pool? Is she ever likely to need a state-run rape crisis center that refuses to guarantee an all-female service to find herself sharing a prison cell with a male rapist who's identified into the women's prison? I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I've lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own experience that what the trashing of women's rights in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated means to women and girls without her privileges. The greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tact I suspect she's adopted because she's noticed the full-throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was, I might never have been this honest. Adults can't expect to cozy up to an activist movement that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then assert their right to the former friend's love, as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right and I've finally decided to exercise it.
Let's go, dude.
Scorched fucking earth.
And very well said.
This has been something, no doubt, that has weighed on her, right? That she's been thinking about. And maybe some of this is saved in her drafts. Who freaking knows? And obviously, you would expect an author like J.K. Rowling to have a little bit of a way with words, but it's incredibly well thought out and obviously, it's a lot to read. She obliterates her, absolutely obliterates her. And look, you talked about how she was kind of saying nothing, and it seemed like she was so hesitant to say what this was or choose her words, probably because she does know that, one, J.K. Rowling's getting constant death threats. You got trans people assassinating people, or trans favorable people assassinating people. You got trans people, you got all this stuff happening. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe part of it too is it's not as popular as it once was. But then she also can't say anything and completely flip around because then she's going to get attacked by those very same fucking nut jobs. So that's maybe where Emma Watson kind of finds herself right now. Yeah, I love the response.
Oh, it's great. It's great. And that's exactly what Emma Watson did. That's why she was dancing around her words so much, is because she wants to still, lean to where she was, but I think she feels the tide shifting. Well, it's going to bite her in the butt because when you appeal to that crowd and you maybe want to try to get out of it because you see how crazy that fucking crowd is, well, they're going to fucking go after you because that's just how they behave. And J.K. Rowling went full scorched earth, articulated it very well, left it all out there. Very well said. I love this, man. That's great.
Yeah, and for a little bit of, good faith or benefit of the doubt, I don't know. Emma Watson has been kind of taking a break from the public eye and from acting and all that stuff for a while now. Mm-hmm. People can change. Maybe she has changed her opinion a little bit. Maybe she does feel bad about that. No fucking idea what she actually feels like. Like I said, I don't think these child actors who grow up in Hollywood, I don't think they're people. I don't think they've had a chance to become an actual fucking person or have any idea what their real feelings are other than kind of what they've been programmed to do. And that's just the people that made it through the entertainment industry without getting like raped and molested and abused and shit like that, right? That's not even counting that type of stuff that happens in the entertainment industry. So I don't know. Maybe this J.K. Rowling just fucking bitch slapped her, basically.
Yep.
So maybe that does set a
Pretty
message.
much.
Maybe it wakes her up more. I don't know.
Long story short, J.K. Rowling called her a privileged, arrogant child. And she's only famous because of the book that I wrote. I love it.
Yeah, she did slide that one in there.
Yeah.
She did slide that one in there. I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. In fact, I was working on the story that made her famous. Oh, the shit. But yeah, so good comeback there. Good comeback there from J.K. Rowling. I'm glad she said something. I was wondering if she would or not. Wish she'd say something about black fucking Snape.
And that's right. She said she's too ignorant to realize how ignorant she is.
Yeah.
That was good too.
She ignorant.